Good day everyone. Today I'm going to talk about one of the most debated yet important topics in Philippine history, the four sites of the first Mass in the Philippines. This topic explores not just where the first Christian Mass in our history took place, but also how history, religion, and national identity connects together. The collaboration of the first Mass marks the official arrival of Christianity in the Philippines, a faith that has become a major part of our culture and everyday life. However, what makes this topic very interesting is that historians and different local groups have their own versions of where the first Mass actually happened. In this report, we'll explore the four possible sites and understand their significance. So, let's move on to the introduction. The first Mass symbolizes the beginning of Christianity in the Philippines. Okay, so the first Mass is a key event in our history because it symbolizes the moment when Christianity was first introduced to the Filipino people. According to historical records, Ferdinand Magellan and his crew arrived in the Philippines in 1521 during their voyage to find a route to the Spice Islands. After their arrival, they held a Catholic Mass, the first one ever celebrated in the Philippines. But here's where the debate begins. Historians and local researchers have long disagreed on the exact location of the event. Some believe it happened in Limasawa Island in southern Leyte. Others argue it took place in Masao or Mazua Island. Some believe also that somewhere in Mindanao or in Mahaba Island, or even in earlier story in Pangasinan. So each claim has its own historical evidence and local pride behind it. So let's dig deeper to understand these arguments, no? Okay, so the first site is the Limasawa Island in southern Leyte. Limasawa is the officially recognized by both Philippine government and the Roman Catholic Church as the true site of the Philippines. True site of the first Mass rather. Historical accounts from Antonio Pigafetta, who was Magellan's chronicler, clearly describe how Magellan and his men held a Mass on Easter Sunday, March 31, 1521. During that time, Magellan was welcomed by Raja Colombo and Raja Siago. So they are the local rulers of the island. The Mass was celebrated as a thanksgiving for their safe journey and as a symbol of peace and friendship. No? So, Limasawa is also acknowledged by the Spanish embassy, and several historians have supported this version because of the detailed records left by Pigafetta. And by the way, I summarized it all because in the handbook that we have is very broad, so that's why I summarized it all, no? So, that's why until today, Limasawa remains the officially declared site of the first Mass in the Philippines, recognized by both the historians and the Philippine government, and also the Catholic Church of the Philippines. Okay, so the next site is the Masao or in Mazua in Butuan City, Agusan del Norte. Supported by Butuan historians and local records, they claim Magellan landed in Mazua, a rich trading port with gold and balanghay boats. No, for many Butuanos, their city is the true location of the first Mass. They believe that Magellan's fleet landed not in Limasawa but in Masua, a wealthy trading port known for its gold, rice, and large wooden boats that called balanghay. So that's the balanghay there that have shown to the picture. So researchers such as Vicente de Jesus and Z. Salazar have written the three were errors in translation and map interpretation that caused Limasawa to be mistaken for Mazua. In fact, some old maps and documents from the 1500s use the name Mazwa instead of Limasawa. Okay. Supporters of Butuan theory also highlighted that Magellan's crew might have preferred Mazwa because of its abundant resources and safe harbor. No? Okay, so although this version is still debated, the people of Butuan continue to honor their claim, seeing it as an important part of their heritage and pride. So, next, the third claim goes to Mindanao, particularly in Surigao del Norte and nearby islands such as Mahaba Island. No? Some say Magellan celebrated the first Mass on Mahaba Island or Mazwa Island, linked to Portuguese explorers who reached Mindanao before Magellan. So, some historians believe that Magellan and his men held the first Mass in this area because of early Portuguese explorers had already reached in Mindanao, even before Magellan's arrival. Records show that Magellan's crew used navigational tools such as astrolabe and chronometer. But these instruments were not very precise, that this might explain why the coordinates of their logs could have been off by a few degrees. No? Making it possible that what they thought was Limasawa was actually in somewhere in Surigao. Mahaba Island is one of the sites where locals believe the event took place. The island is mentioned in some old maps and its features match the description of where Magellan supposedly anchored. Now let's move on to the fourth and most surprising claim comes from Pangasinan. According to some historical accounts, an Italian friar named Odoric of Pordinon supposedly visited the Philippines long before Magellan, around the 1300s. It is said that he held a Christmas Mass in Pangasinan on December 25, 1324, and even baptized several locals. If this account were true, it would mean that Christianity reached the Philippines nearly 200 years before Magellan. However, many historians doubt this story. There is no strong evidence that Friar Odoric ever reached the Philippines, and some believe his writings may have been describing other Asian places. Still, the story of Friar Odoric remains the part of the broader discussions about early Christians' presence in the Philippines, showing how complex and fascinating our history truly is. So, our next slide is a summary or a table in order for us to deeper understand the four sites of the first Mass in the Philippines. So we have here the site, the location, the year or the event, its supporters, and its notes. No? So the first one is the Limasawa. The location of Limasawa is in southern Leyte, and the event of this site happened in March 31, 1521 on Easter Sunday. So the supporters are Pigafetta, government, and the church, Catholic Church, and officially recognized. No? So next is Mazwa or the Mazao. The location is Butuan City and is still in 1521, and its supporters is the Butuan historians, but the note of this is disputed by navigation errors. So next is the Mindanao or in Mahaba Island. It also happened during 1521, and its supporters was Portuguese records, and its notes was unclear coordinates. So the last site is the Pangasinan. Its location was northern Luzon, and it was happened before Magellan in 1324, and its supporters was Fair Odoric's claim. So historically doubtful. So because there was no concrete evidence of this story. So to conclude our topic for today, the first mass represents the introduction of Christianity in the Philippines. Among the four sites, Limasawa Island is the officially recognized location in the Philippines. So Limasawa is the recognized site where the first mass of Christianity in the Philippines. And the last one is the debate shows how history, faith, and regional identity shape our understanding of the past. So that would be all to my topic and for my discussion. Thank you so much.